Nice gist, my people. Like I said before, there is more to what is happening between the Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and Natasha, a senator of the National Assembly of Nigeria. I want you guys to take a shippy and just relax as we listen to the alleged atrocity of our dear Senate President in the National Assembly. Let's watch.
You made a statement that you've been maligned, you are not afraid of the Senate President, and that I asked if this was exclusive to you alone or if this is a particular trend.
Yeah, that outburst. That's what I'm about to explain that.
Yes.
Yes, so many people do not know what I'm about to say, but I'm going to speak my own truth. And the Senate President is allowed to counter that. It all started on the 8th of December, 2023, which was a day before his birthday and my birthday. We are birthday mates. We were all in Akwa Ibom because he had a big fanfare in the stadium. Myself, my husband, and a few of his close friends, we went to Akwa Ibom. And at first, we were at Ikot-Ekpene. We were in his house in Ikot-Ekpene. Then we all moved to his house in Uyo, which was about 8 p.m. And he held my hand and said he wanted to show me around his house. My husband was walking behind us, just three of us. We're walking around from room to room. He showed me the beautiful interior. This was done by this, by that, this designer here, he bought this from us. I was like, oh, it's beautiful. And then I noticed that he hastened his pace while still holding my hand. And my husband was behind, still on his phone, but he was catching up whenever he could. And then he got to this particular sitting room, and he said, do you like my house? I said, of course, sir. Every room, beautiful, nice interior, quality taste. He said, now that you're a senator, I'm going to create a time for us to come spend quality moments here. You will enjoy it. At that point, I just pulled away and I was like, I don't really understand what exactly that meant. But then my husband now, when I turned around, I saw my husband was already near me. And the way my husband looked at me and looked at him, I was beginning to wonder, did he hear part of that inciting statements or not? And then the Senate President, too, I saw that he also had that thought, like, did my husband hear the invitation to treat or not? So then the Senate President now said, oh, by the way, let me show you my chapel. He has a chapel in his house as well. So while we were going to the chapel, you know, we walked in silence and all. So that evening, before we left the Senate President's house at about 11 midnight to the 4 points in Ikot-Ekpene. And my husband asked me, Natasha, what did the Senate President whisper to you? What's he telling you? I thought, should I tell him that he was speaking about bringing me in here at a special time for us to have a good time? Or should I just kill it there, wrap it as if there was nothing? Because tomorrow was a big day. I know how much my husband adores the Senate President. He loves him as a brother. My husband would do anything to support him. So I told my husband, nothing. I can't remember what I created, but I just gave him some words to manage, to mask what was said. When we laid in bed, I lay to my right, and my husband wrapped his arms around me, and he said, my love, you know you can't tell me anything. What did the Senate President tell you? Again, I was like, don't you believe me? I said, nothing. Nothing. Moreover, it's my birthday in a few minutes. Let's just be happy. Then my husband told me he doesn't want to see me travel out of the country alone, and I should not go to the Senate President's house because he has a guest house where many senators do go there, you know, after office to like get approvals and all that. So I told him, okay, no problems. That was it. I thought that was going to be the end. But then, in February, I wanted to move a motion. I wanted to move a motion for the investigation on the ills of corrupt practice in Ajakuta Steel Company. I listed that motion 5 times. It was the 6th time that it was listed on the order paper that was approved. Many senators can testify to that. Each time the motion is listed, just before he takes it, he will say, oh, Senator Natasha, we can't take this motion because the board of the Senate does not accommodate it. Or he will speak on others and then let it drag so that just before my motion is taken, the time will be well spent. So he kept on doing that. I went to him in his office. And I said, Senate President, you know how important this Ajaokuta Steel Company to me is. You know how important it is to my people and to Nigerians. I've noticed that you have stepped down this motion. As a matter of fact, a number of senators told me, go and see him and plead with him so that he would take it. I was like, sir, please, why can't you take this motion? It's very important. It's been listed. Then it was listed a third time and stepped down. He then said, Natasha, I'm the chief presiding officer of the Senate. You can enjoy a whole lot if you take care of me and make me happy. At that point, I said, sir, I'll pretend that I didn't hear this. He said, well, the ball is in your court. Senator, how are you? I said, I'm fine. He said, you know, in the wake of all of this rancor, if the Senate President goes down, I will go down too. And I said, what do you mean, sir? At that point, I woke my husband up because he had fallen asleep before me. I said, are you calling me to threaten me? I could hear murmurs from the Senate President. I could hear the Senate President's voice at the background because I could tell it was on speakerphone. He said, no, I'm just telling you that, you know, there's a whole lot of attack on the Senate President, and if things go down, if he resigns or something happens, I should know that I'm going to be held responsible, and I also go down. At that point, I started shouting. I was like, you can't call me at midnight and threaten me, sir. You can't do this. And mind you, I was actually surprised because the leader of the House is someone I respect greatly. He's a very good friend. He's a very calm person. And I believe, I'm saying it, that if he actually made those statements, he probably was told to do so. So I dropped the line. And then I dropped the line. The first conversation was just 2 minutes, 33 seconds. Then my phone rang again at 26 minutes past midnight, that same day. And then it was the same call, Senator Opeyemi's line, but then it was the Senate President's voice. He said, Princess of the Senate. That's how he calls me casually. You know, I've been attacked. My wife has not slept for days. She's been crying. She's received lots of insults, all because of you. I said, no, sir, it's not because of me. It's because of you. I didn't force you to order that statement. And I did not call on the support I received from Nigerian women. So don't blame it on me. He said, no, he's telling me this because the Dane of Agbo, I think he's a king in Agbo in Delta State. So the Dane of Agbo spoke with him and told him that he, that's the Senate President, was the most hated politician in Nigeria at that point. Mind you, that was a few days to the protest. There was this end bad governance protest on the 1st of August, and this incident happened like a week before. So he said the Dane of Agbo told him, Mr. Senate President, you know, your rating is all low. You're one of the worst. You're one of the most hated politicians now. So I would advise, he said the Dane of Agbo advised the Senate President to leave Abuja because if he is caught in the middle of the protest, he could be attacked by the Nigerians. I said, so why are you telling this, sir? He said he's telling me because he found it insulting that the Dane of Agbo would tell him to leave, to run away, to leave Abuja. And that he's telling me, he said, Natasha, I'm telling you, go and tell them that if anybody over the age of 20 approaches me during the protest, I will what was the word? Hold on. I will take that person down. The Senate President told me over the phone that based on the advice that the Dane of Agbo gave him, that he should leave Abuja in the wake of the protest so that he will not be caught and probably will not be approached or attacked by the youth. He said, Natasha, I have the capacity, I'm number 3 citizen. If anybody over the age of 20 dares to confront me, I will take that person down. That person should dare me with his life. I said, at that point, I started shouting. I now told my husband, he didn't know the phone was on speakerphone all the while because I'd woken my husband up from the first speaker. I was like, my love, can you hear what he's telling me? This is exactly what he does. At that point, when he knew, he was like, is your husband there? Oh, yeah. I said, yes, sir, my husband is here. And he heard everything. He then told me to pass the phone to my husband. And you know what he said? Immediately, he changed his tone. He was like, oh, Alema, I have a slot for you. For an appointment from Delta State, why don't you bring a nominee? And I took the phone back, I shouted at the Senate President. I said, you can't pacify us, you can't threaten me on one side and then pacify me. Sir, I'm aware, even though the conversations took place on via WhatsApp, I know that the DSS and the NSA's office, they have the tools to extract these phone calls.
Okay,
and
Senator Natasha.
I'm going to publish if, yes, sir.
Okay, Senator Natasha, thank you.
So and he told me that, well, all you want, hold on, please. He then told me that, Oshay, all I want is an apology. He would apologize on the floor that morning, and that he expects me to accept it. So all that morning, when I walked in, I was already threatened. I was already petrified. This is a man who had already called me at midnight, so I didn't sleep all night. I just had to say okay to his...
He don't cast. He don't cast. He don't cast. First and foremost, Mr. Senate President, I don't expect you to come out to counter this allegation and admitting that what she has said is true. I don't expect it. Yeah, I don't expect it. I don't expect you to come out and say all that she has said is a lie. Or you are coming out to say all that she has said is true. So I don't expect it. Yeah, so you know, when Philip Shuaibu was saying something about lobby yesterday, for many people who do not understand, when Philip Shuaibu, what I posted yesterday, when Philip Shuaibu was saying that in everything in the National Assembly, you lobby over them. This is one of the examples in which you can lobby your way. This is one of the examples you can lobby your way. And Philip Shuaibu was painting lobby yesterday as if lobby is one good thing. Lobby is bribing, is corruption. This is one of the way. You lobby your way. If maybe the Senator Natasha has agreed to Migrimore, to Migrimore with the Senate President, I believe when she brings any motion in the House, it will be granted as fast, as swift as possible. If she agreed to Migrimore. But she refused to Migrimore. And the reaction is the drama we are seeing at the moment at the National Assembly. So, but like I said, I don't expect him to come out and say the allegation is true. So that is for that. That is one of the way you lobby your way. Philip Shuaibu, is this one correct? One of the way you lobby for everything in life. Senate President, you should be ashamed. Should be ashamed. Allegedly, sir, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed. The truth is the truth. Should be ashamed. You are a married man. The lady herself, she's a married woman. So imagine, for example, I'm not saying no. Imagine somebody, another man is trying to also make remorse. I believe you'll be happy with it. And for you, the so-called Senator Natasha, you hid it from your own husband. You refuse to tell your husband. Your husband asked you even in his house, you refuse to say. You painted it another way. He asked you even in the bedroom, you painted it another way, and you even wave him out of the whole equation by saying, don't you believe me? And it happened again at the office, and you came back home, you told him the part that you want him to hear, and you hide the other part. Is that one okay also, madam? Madam, is that one okay? Is that one okay also to you? You have what you can tell your husband. There are things you cannot tell your husband. You select the one you tell your husband. You select the one you don't want him to know. So this is what you guys are doing in the National Assembly. This is what you guys are doing. No wonder all the nightclub wahala was coming up. My God. Well, the person who alleged must prove, but the way the woman presented her case, it shows that she knows what she's saying and she has proven everything. So, Mr. Senate President, Ogasa,